But from up here in the cab, the view looks rather different. We're hauling 14 tons of special printing paper from Aberdeen to Milan. And our driver over here, Monty, reckons that from where he sits, the common market doesn't look very common. Okay, Monty, they're clearly through, all right?
Yes, I'm through.
What did you have to show him to get through?
First of all, the T-form.
Right, we've got the T-form, we've got this one, the transit paper, we've got this one,
permit,
which is a permit, we've got the logbook, which you have to have the original for, we've got this one, which is the carnet, yeah, okay, and you've got this, diesel forms. Okay. What's the longest you've ever spent here, Monty?
3 days.
And what's the average sort of time that you reckon it will take you to get through here?
Well, it varies. Like, I mean, sometimes I say you can get through in 10 minutes. Other times you can spend 3 or 4 hours here, you know, just...
The Common Market Commission say that for a very little more money, member governments could improve things enormously. Until that happens, some of these customs posts, and the lorry drivers would certainly include Dover among them, remain a monument to the fact that the common market is not really a common market yet at all. Michael Brunson, News at 10, Aosta in northern Italy.
very good. Aquí se vino.
But from up here in the cab, the view looks rather different. We're hauling 14 tons of special printing paper from Aberdeen to Milan. And our driver over here, Monty Murrell, reckons that from where he sits, the common market looks anything but common.
Running.
Okay. But from up here in the cab, the view looks rather different. We're hauling 14 tons of special printing paper from Aberdeen to Milan. And our driver over here, Monty Murrell, reckons that from where he sits, the common market doesn't look very common.
Ready?
Monty, they're clear through, all right? Yeah, okay. Now then, what have we got? What's the various things you have to have?
Well, they're the T-forms.
That's the T-form, first of all, right? Okay.
That is the transit form.
There's the transit form there.
That is the vehicle permit.
That's the vehicle there.
That is logbook.
The logbook, and that's got to be the original.
It must be the original.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
That's the for the trailer.
Carnet.
That's
Okay.
That is for the diesel tank shine.
Fine, the diesel, yeah.
And passport.
Okay, fine. Right, 7 forms in all.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, so now... Okay, Monty, they're clearly through, all right?
Yes, I'm through.
What did you have to show them to get through?
First of all, the T-form.
Right, we've got the T-form, we've got this one, the transit paper. We've got this one,
permit,
which is a permit. We've got the logbook, which you have to have the original for. We've got this one, which is the carnet. Yeah, okay. And you've got this, diesel forms.
And passport.
7 papers in all.
7 papers in all.
Just to get across a supposedly common market frontier.
And we're not finished yet.
And we're not finished yet, that's right. The way we did it before. And this way we might have to intercut them. Actually, when you do it like this, it's crazy, isn't it? It really is. It really is, for a supposedly open frontier. Okay, right, let's just go through them very quickly once again then. So there's the T form for the goods.
Yes.
This one's
there's the transit form.
The transit form.
That's the permit.
This one's your permit. We're getting cold hands here, that's the trouble. Vehicle logbook.
Vehicle logbook.
Okay.
That's for the trailer carnet.
Trailer carnet.
That's for the diesel tank shine.
Diesel fuel.
And passport.
And last but not least, the passport.
Yes.
Customs sign, just as we go around the bend.
Yes.
Right, okay.
One of them cars, I can't go in that bit there.
No, okay. What time do we get here? 4 o'clock exactly. 55.
Right.
What's the longest you've ever spent here, Monty?
3 days.
And what's the average sort of time that you reckon it will take you to get through here?
Well, it varies. Like, I mean, sometimes I say you can get through in 10 minutes. Other times you can spend 3 or 4 hours here. You know, just getting through, and you're not even clearing customs. You're just getting through.
It's totally unpredictable, isn't it?
That's right, yeah, I must get out of here.
Follow me.
Come over here. Okay, can you go around that way, Monty? Go around. Okay. Sorry, again, just park along.
The boys who drive these lorries would very much like to keep on trucking. Trucking from Birmingham to Barcelona, from Manchester to Milan, without having to stop for customs here, passport checks there, rubber stamping somewhere else. Surely, a common market must be the common lorry driver's dream. The English Channel would then be a mere step on the way, and not, as it is at the moment, one more bureaucratic stumbling block. This is where you get a true impression of how far Europe has moved towards the dream of a united Europe. The Brussels boast is, without internal frontiers, with free movement of goods. Well, suggest that to Roy Simons, who is embarking on yet another expedition to conquer the mountainous heaps of paper that must be processed before he and his truck can leave Dover. And when Roy and his mates have more stamps than a Stanley Gibbons catalogue, they'll be on their way to Europe. And then the fun can start.
In Germany, you can clear customs in 10 minutes, actually clearing customs. Whereas in this country, in Dover, for example, they talk of an average of 4 to 6 hours. In Italy, it's a morning. If it's going to be a common market, if it's called a common market, why can't we have things common?
You're the only blokes who are in Europe every day, travelling through Europe, seeing all of it. Do you feel in any way European?
No, I feel English exactly what I am, and
Always will be.
and always will be. Yes.
Well, unless systems changed to make you feel European, but at the moment every system is different, so you still feel British because you're dealing with a different system. Every border is a different system.
How far do you think we are moving towards it being one place, towards it being one European community? Do you feel it's moving at all?
I don't think we'll ever see it.
You don't?
No, I don't. I don't think it will ever come. You've got different cultures, entirely different, and you're never going to make an Englishman a Frenchman or a Frenchman an Englishman, and I don't think you'll ever see it.
In Brussels, they beg to differ. They've set the date. It's 1992. Here they lay down the Euro law, the European Commission in Brussels, fount of all good intention, mixed with a hefty dollop of apparent stupidity. And when it's not making itself a laughingstock, the European community is in crisis. We're going broke. Europe on the breadline, it cries. Political leaders flock here to Brussels for a summit, and then Europe is back on the rails for a while. They have been at it 30 years now, and as any one of those truck drivers will tell you, they don't seem to be getting very far, not at making it truly a common market. So what has Europe achieved? I tried to find out from a journalist who lives every day alongside the Brussels Euro machine, The Guardian's John Palmer.
If you look at the total picture of the impact of the European community on British affairs or German affairs or Italian affairs, it's becoming more and more important every year. Not just what the Commission does, but 101 committees that meet in Brussels or one of the other EEC centres, officials, civil servants, diplomats, experts, deciding on a range of policies from safety standards in food to permitted levels of radiation, to the kind of agricultural policy we have, to how the steel industry will be organised, 101 different matters. So governance, in the old-fashioned expression, is moving increasingly from London to Brussels.
The impression I get from reading the newspapers is that the only thing that seems to happen in Brussels is that people are arguing all the time and squabbling, endless rows. Is that true or not?
There is some truth in that. This is an entirely new venture. It's, what, 20, 30 years old. And, of course, we're talking about 12 nations with a long national history. It's inevitable, as it were, that the birth pangs of the community are going to be associated with squabbles about how things should be done.
I'm going to try to get to the root of the European community. I want to get inside the hothouse. I want to see for myself the home of good intentions. I mean, if anywhere's going to be truly European, surely this place is.
Hello. Do you speak English? Yeah. Do I fill in the form? Okay.
Ah, a form to fill in. I suppose that's to be expected to get anywhere in Europe.
Passport? Yeah.
Now, that is a surprise, a passport. The ultimate symbol of nationality, you would have thought, would have no place in this temple of unity. But not so. The chances are you'll still need to show your passport to get anywhere in Europe, even after 1992. The boys in these corridors of power have decided their word is law, and they have the means to spread it. Despite appearances, the natives do want to be friendly. They want us to know and understand what they're doing. They want to be loved. They have set up interaction videos to help the confused and bewildered, like me. Ah, now that looks just like the button I'm looking for.
The idea behind the common market is the abolition of borders between member countries and the creation of a single EC frontier around the outside of the community. This means one large single market with over 320 million consumers in which EC companies can sell their goods and services.
That's the theory. Now look at the practice. There can be up to 30 meetings like this happening any day of the week in Brussels. They might be held in French or any European language.
Was any commercial regulation
And sometimes in Eurospeak.
indirectly or directly, actually or potentially, likely to restrict community trade?
They're talking about sticky buns. These are bakers from the 12 countries of Europe. If they haven't got the act together on buns yet, where's the hope for the rest of it?
So harmonisation 1992, they've got to be joking.
I don't think they are joking entirely, Paul. I think that the timetable may be too ambitious to abolish all the restrictions to the free movement of people, the free movement of trade, to tear down the customs barriers, to have a system where you have the same passport, the same driving license. That may be a bit ambitious, and it's also true that as people get the feel for a common market with common standards, they will also want ambitiously common pensions, common social security payments. So it's a very big operation, and it may take longer than 1992.
Lorry drivers I spoke to, though, I mean, they say that since the European Community, things have got worse. There's more stamping, more paperwork.
That's right. Partly in order to keep control of a common market, national governments have used more and more bureaucratic means to keep those regulations in check. And what the 1992 goal is all about is removing those national barriers, which national governments have put up. It's not been the EEC that's put up those national barriers, it's our own national governments.
The Germans, good at brewing beer and drinking it, but at the moment not